Mentioned President Biden headed to North Carolina. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump visited Georgia yesterday, where he falsely claimed several times the White House is ignoring the storm. It is not, of course, and ignoring requests from the state's Republican governor, Brian Kemp.
The governor's doing a very good job. He's having a hard time getting the president on the phone. I guess they're not being responsive. The federal government is not being responsive. But they're having a very hard time getting the president on the phone. He won't get on, and of course the vice president, she's out someplace campaigning, looking for money.
The governor needs to. He's been trying to get them, and I'm sure they're going to come through. But he's been calling the president, hasn't been able to get him.
You know, Hulk Hogan's place on the beach got hit pretty bad. No, he hasn't.
That's an utter lie. Earlier in the day, Governor Kemp told reporters he did speak with President Biden and the president offered his assistance.
The president just called me yesterday afternoon. I missed him and called him right back. And he just said, hey, what do you need? And I told him, you know, we got what we need. We'll work through the federal process. He offered that if there's other things we need, just to call him directly, which I appreciate that.
So President Biden, of course, spoke to the governor of Georgia, as the governor just underlined there. Later in the day, President Biden was asked about Trump's claims and got fiery as he took questions from reporters in the Oval Office.
He is lying. Let me get this straight. He's lying. And the governor told him he was lying. The governor told him he was lying. I've spoken to the governor, spent time with him, and he told me he's lying. I don't know why he does this. And the reason I get so angry about it, I don't care about what he says about me, but I care what he communicates to the people that are in need. He implies that we're not doing everything possible. We are. We are.
You know, Jonathan Lemire, this is a particularly disgusting lie. When the people there need help, suggesting that the White House and FEMA, because Democrats don't want Donald Trump to win, of course, it all comes back to him or turning their back on him. He's also suggested that the White House and this federal government is ignoring MAGA supporters in red counties. That's, of course, not true. Just not even in this moment of destruction and devastation and people needing clarity and help so badly, can't even put his ego and his cheap insults aside in this moment.
Refuses to do it. Rooting against the country is one of the themes from Donald Trump. And this is a moment where this is a particularly dangerous lie, because if he's out there saying, well, hey, the federal government's ignoring those who are impacted by the storm, that may discourage those impacted by the storm from even seeking help. And state and federal officials are saying, look, we're here, reach out to us, we're trying to reach you, we're trying to assist you in this time of need. But Donald Trump only thinking about himself. He, of course, was in Georgia yesterday, potentially a strain on resources there, but he wanted to go to have the political photo op. Vice President Harris says she will go in the days ahead, but she wants to make sure that she's not an unnecessary distraction from recovery efforts, Caddy. And this is also, in terms of Trump, and Charlie Sykes said this a little earlier this morning, it's not just like Trump is these days shading the truth or exaggerating. He's just flat out lying. These are complete fabrications, utter falsehoods. And this one in particular strikes me as really dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unusual for storms to bring out political tensions. Ask, Charlie Crist or Chris Christie. They've both been in positions where they had a president from the opposite party and they suffered retribution from their own party for embracing that president when they came to give help. This is completely the opposite of that. This is Donald Trump, who is running for the presidency, saying things that are not true. I mean, and also it's odd because it's demonstrably not true. I mean, Brian Kemp has said that he's spoken to the president. The president has said that he's spoken to Brian Kemp. The Republicans have said, yes, the federal aid is on its way. FEMA is doing what he can. And you wonder why Donald Trump is in this position where he is saying things that are so clearly provable not to be true in a way that doesn't necessarily help his campaign. If this is just about again and again and again angering his base enough that he makes sure they turn out and vote, is he worried that there may be some drop-off in voting, that his ground game is not good enough, and that this is the way he gets people to the polls? It's hard to see what the strategy is, but as you say, this is dangerous because people's lives are at stake in Georgia, in North Carolina at the moment, and they need all the help they can get, and they need to know that the help is coming. That's also very important for them.
Just absolutely toxic. And by the way, he knows he can get away with it because he exists in a media ecosystem where it will be echoed uncritically. Again, President Biden, of course, talked to Republican Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia and the governors across the region about the destruction from this storm to get people the help they need, whether they're Democrat or Republican.